Coming up on Citrus TV News, construction at the Syracuse Airport. Traffic problems continue as lanes are blocked off, and Citrus TV reporter Taylor Lang looks at what problems this is causing for the airport.
And more funerals for the victims of the Florida school shooting. Students will leave the ceremonies for Tallahassee, and they're looking to make a change in Florida's laws.
And McDonald's is trying to make their Happy Meals healthier by removing a staple ingredient. How is the burger chain trying to move past the burger? All that and more right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
Our top story tonight, a glaring loophole in Syracuse salaries. Onondaga County is once again looking into the overtime policy after a deputy earned $220,000 last year. That's more than the county executive. Good evening, I'm Chris Venzon.
And I'm Sabrina Maggiore. This all comes just a week after Onondaga County Justice Center was named one of the most problematic prisons in the state. Joining us now to talk about the issues concerning the county's Justice Department is reporter Greg Bradbury. So Greg, these deputies are obviously making a lot of money. Just how is all of this legal?
So right now there's a rule in legislation that allows the sheriff's deputies to abuse their overtime pay and make more than double what their salary says. Not only does it double their pay, but it also affects their pension, since a lot of these guys are older senior deputies getting closer to retirement. As they get closer, they can actually double dip once they retire and take home even more money. Right now the county budgets $3 million for overtime pay, but they seemingly always have gone over.
So how much are we talking about, Greg? What's the figure? What are we looking at?
So right now, James Rouse, a sheriff's lieutenant, tripled his salary, actually. He was making $72,176 and brought that all the way up to $221,241, making him the second highest paid employee. Making him the highest paid employee, with the second following more than $35,000 behind.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, this is an ongoing problem, as Rouse took home $141,000 back in 2012. So seriously, something that needs to be fixed.
Greg, thank you so much. We appreciate your reporting.
Thanks, Greg.
So the Super Bowl is the biggest television event of the year. So how does NBC make sure that everything goes right as scheduled during the big game? Well, that's what Drew Esikoff will be discussing tomorrow here at SU. The director of 7 Super Bowls, including this past year's, will be here to talk to people about his experience working football games. The event is free and starts tomorrow at 1 p.m. in Newhouse. Tomorrow's SU men's basketball game in the Carrier Dome will feature 1,000 lucky fans that got their seats for free. The Student Association gave away tickets today on a first-come, first-served basis. And as you can see, plenty of hopefuls showed up for a free ticket.
The giveaway was sponsored by Original Italian Pizza in collaboration with the SU Athletics Department. SU tips off against UNC tonight at 7 p.m. With the Winter Olympics continuing in South Korea, many students here at SU enjoy watching their favorite events every night. Citrus TV News reporter Jenna Babyak spoke with students on the synchronized skating team about what makes their favorite sport so special.
I really like getting on the ice and everything just goes away. Like you're just like thoughtless. It's awesome.
To students on Orange Experience, skating is awesome for many reasons.
What I love about it is that it's such like an athletic sport, and it takes such athleticism, but it's also beautiful to watch, and it has the artistry which a lot of other sports don't have.
The sport is not only physically demanding.
I've personally had 2 concussions and sprained my ankles a bunch of times.
I've had 2 ankle surgeries and 3 concussions.
I can get a 3rd concussion.
But it is also extremely mentally demanding.
Mentally, you have to be there, you have to be 100% with it.
Although they might not be in an ice rink in South Korea, these Syracuse skaters are working like Olympians to perfect their competition routine. Students on the synchronized skating team practice here in the Tierney Ice Pavilion multiple times a week. They spend hours warming up and rehearsing for their routines. There are many things that can go wrong during a competition, like wardrobe malfunctions with costumes.
I've had it come undone at the top.
Or uncontrollable nerves.
I have a tendency of forgetting my routine when I get nervous.
Sometimes accidents can happen.
I scraped my finger on a spin once and had blood down my dress and my arm, which I didn't realize till I got off.
But all skaters know that the worst thing to do is to let it ruin their performance.
If you just smile, keep going.
These skaters are definitely all smiles here, on and off the ice. Jenna Babyak, Citrus TV News.
The synchronized skating team took home first place in the Reflections Invitational last night, and this was their last competition of the season.
A lecture on the social dimension of Islam will be held tomorrow night at Byrd Library as a part of the 6-week series on understanding Islam. The free lecture is sponsored by SU Libraries and Muslim Student Life. The event is facilitated by Muslim chaplain Amir Durek, and if you'd like to attend, the lecture will be held in room 4 of Byrd Library from 6 to 7:30. Today, a new kind of vehicle was seen on the streets of Syracuse. The Planters Nutmobile made an appearance on campus.
Planters is looking for some nutty individuals to serve as spokespeople and learn about public relations, marketing, and consumer promotions. Only 9 people will be selected to be so-called nutters, and those chosen will travel the country in the Nutmobile. And the Syracuse Hancock International Airport is currently a record holder, but this is not a record airport officials are happy to admit. CitrusTV reporter Taylor Lang tells us how these are 2 parts to the story. Taylor?
Construction is everywhere you turn at the Syracuse Hancock International Airport. This week has the additional problem of being February break for Syracuse and the surrounding school districts. Local travel agents are telling their travelers to prepare for crowds 50% bigger than normal.
This is one of the busiest times to travel, along with spring break. Anytime there's a school break and when parents and kids have the time off, it's going to be hectic and more prone to delays and cancellations. Most of the time, we just say, go early, be prepared.
The $45 million upgrade includes the closing of the center terminal and the main entrance. Parking has not changed, but is much more difficult to navigate. Travelers are being warned to come up to 2 hours earlier than normal to catch their flights.
Because we do know that it has caused some concerns, but sometimes people do go out of Rochester because it is easier.
And while this is the entrance where most people come to in order to get on their flights, not only 20 feet away is all the construction. Surprisingly enough, most people don't seem to mind.
After I got my ticket, I just asked one of the customer service reps, and they told me where to go.
A bit more than I'm used to, but it's not too bad.
Designs of the renovations are posted all over the airport. While passengers and officials don't agree if the construction is an issue, they can agree that the renovations will be worth it. Construction is expected to finish in October.
Why does Central New York have more flu cases than anywhere else in the state? A new report says it's not because we're skipping out on our flu shots. Onondaga County actually had one of the highest vaccination rates in Central New York, but in spite of this, the county is one of the 8 counties that has over 100 new cases of the flu per week. Officials still don't know why that is. And the defense in New York corruption trial will get a chance to make its case this week. Going into the trial's 5th week, the U.S. Attorney's Office is expected to call its final witness in the case against former Cuomo aide Joseph Percoco. The defense will then have the opportunity to present their side of the case, though they are not required to do so. Percoco is accused of accepting bribes from Syracuse developers.
If you own a drone, you may not want to fly it on campus after hearing what SU students have to say about the updated policy. CitrusTV reporter Justine Murray talked to students about what they call harsh campus policies.
Now that drones are becoming more common, SU revised their policy to increase safety measures during flights on campus.
I think this is a cool policy. It shows that the university is listening to some people, obviously, and they want students to be protected.
But some students feel the regulations go a bit too far.
It's just over the top. Like, it says you have to notify, the Federal Aviation Administration. They really need to know that a college student is flying a drone.
So I feel like there should be a little bit of rules, but not as many rules as they're making it.
Students believe that there shouldn't even be a drone policy at SU. In fact, some find it pretty ridiculous.
If you're not hurting anyone, why do you need a policy?
I'm just perplexed by this whole thing. Why is this here?
Drones are not allowed to be used on campus for recreational purpose, and a DPS or fire and life safety officer must be present during all flights. Those who thought about flying a drone before now don't think it's worth the struggle.
Getting some cool shots for videos and films would have been nice, but now because of these rules and policies, I think it's just easier to just skip all of that.
To request permission to fly a drone, you must contact the Office of Risk Management and Regulatory Compliance, where your application will be reviewed. Justine Murray, CitrusTV News.
Thanks, Justine. Elsewhere, one New York is taking the matters of gun control into his own hands. Scott Papaladero destroyed his AR-15 rifle in a video he posted to Facebook, a video that's since gone viral. Papaladero says he's a supporter of the Second Amendment and he's owned a rifle for 30 years. But following the school shooting last week in Florida, Papaladero wanted to ensure his weapon will, quote, never be able to take a life. And Governor Cuomo says that the adult smoking rate is the lowest it's ever been. As of 2016, the New York adult smoking rate is just over 14%, a 22% drop from 2011. Smoking rates also declined among younger adults by 48%. According to Cuomo, the drops from these rates against the states are due to the state's anti-smoking efforts. New York State has the highest state tax on tobacco in the country. And well, we've had some tropical weather here in Syracuse. It feels like some warm weather, unseasonably warm and certainly wet. Well, let's take a look at what Brendan Tierney has to say. He's on the quad with today's first weather.
Hey, Sabrina and Chris. Yeah, beautiful weather outside today. We did hit a record high. That's making piles of snow like the one right over there melt away very quickly. We also had some rain that's also getting rid of that. So it's feeling much like April here in the middle of February in Syracuse. Let's start at your forecast by taking a look at your Citrus TV current radar and satellites. Taking a look at that, you're able to see some clouds and rain did move through the area earlier today. Now that kept us cooler in the morning, but let temperatures spike. So as we take a look at your Tuesday in review, you're able to see 53 degrees this morning. A big spike around noon when the rain got out of here. We jumped from 58 to 68 in about an hour. We're now sitting in about 63 degrees, so very nice weather outside. The real field temperature was in the lower 70s. Beautiful weather here on campus, and it's going to stick around until at least tomorrow. Taking a look around the region, you're able to see temperatures for the entire region are very nice and warm. Seeing the exact temperatures we are, that will stay the same way at least into tomorrow morning. And for tomorrow, we're looking at a high of 64 degrees. Unfortunately, that's coming earlier in the day. We have some near record temperatures. I'll be talking about that later in my full exclusive Citrus TV 5-day forecast. So back out here live, very nice weather. We saw people laying in hammocks on the quad earlier today. No one out here right now, but there are plenty of people walking around enjoying the nice evening here on campus. Back to you in the studio.
Okay, after the break, controversy as Donald Trump Jr. goes to India. Is the president's son there for business, politics, or maybe both?
And two high-level officials arrested in Israel. Could their prime minister be next? Don't go anywhere.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Welcome back to Citrus TV. The families and friends of the victims of last week's mass shooting continue to grieve today as they attend the funerals of the loved ones they lost.
Yeah, today there were funerals for 4 of the 14 students that were killed. Their names, Peter Wang, Gina Montalto, Cara Lochran, and Carmen Schentrup. There are also 2 viewings for the faculty members. for Christopher Hickson and Aaron Feiss.
After the funerals, 100 students will head to the state capitol in Tallahassee to demand a change towards tighter firearm regulations.
Elsewhere, another charge was made in the Russian investigation.
Robert Mueller accused Alex Venzon of making false statements about Ukraine's Ministry of Justice court papers. Court papers also document that Venzon did not produce emails wanted by the special counsel's office.
Venzon is the 19th person to be charged in the investigation.
And Donald Trump Jr. touched down in India this morning. He's there on an unofficial visit to help sell Trump apartments to wealthy Indian elites.
He also plans to deliver a speech on the foreign relations of private business. If you want to meet with Trump Jr., it'll cost you $40,000.
This combination of meetings between buyers and Trump's political speech is causing controversy today.
All right, at least 8 people have been killed today in an airstrike outside Damascus as the Syrian government ramps up their efforts to take back rebel-controlled areas.
Paramedics have called this the deadliest 24 hours the area has seen in 3 years. Since the beginning of the Syrian civil war in 2011, 500,000 people have died, and this attack on Damascus continues to keep that number rising.
The UN now has called for a ceasefire to allow aid to be delivered to the hundreds that have been trapped and wounded by the recent attacks.
U.S.-supplied weapons may be ending up in the hands of terrorists.
A CNN report shows that a Syrian resident attempted to sell an M16 assault rifle to a reporter posing as a potential buyer. The seller says the rifle came from a Syrian rebel force backed by the U.S.
Experts say the M16 serial number suggests the rifle was originally in the hands of Iraqi security forces.
And newest security forces today in the corruption case surrounding Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Several of Netanyahu's friends and confidants were arrested, one of whom is allegedly in talks to become a key witness against the Prime Minister. A new allegation also surfaced that one of Netanyahu's advisors attempted to bribe a judge into dropping a criminal investigation into Netanyahu's wife.
The Prime Minister released a video denying this new allegation.
Coming up, a grocery store chain has a plan to compete with Amazon. How is Rite Aid involved? We'll have more coming up.
And Brendan Tierney gives us an update on the warm weather. Is springtime finally here to stay? Find out after the break.
What are you, superheroes?
Just 4 brothers who hate bullies and love this city.
Gear up, guys.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. We're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Beautiful weather today, and that is sticking around into the evening. Our low for tonight will be 56 degrees. Some clouds will be breaking. The wind will be picking up, however, as we get through the evening. Winds in the 15 to 20 mile per hour range. Taking a look at your surface analysis map, you can see what developed. Low pressure and mixed system is bringing rain behind us, but that's allowing warm weather to come up into the Syracuse area. Taking a look at your national temperatures, you're able to see that pretty much exactly. Cold temperatures out west, moderate temperatures on the right side of that system, you nice and warm temperatures. The entire East Coast today, seeing very warm temperatures. It's going to be the same way tomorrow. However, once that system moves through, we are getting a reality check again. Taking a look at your future radar, you're able to see some of those storms moving into the area overnight tonight and into tomorrow. We have some sprinkles. The rain really does arrive, however, around noon tomorrow. That will be out of here, however, by the time you head over to the Carrier Dome for the basketball game. So Syracuse versus North Carolina, 51 degrees at tip-off, coming in at 7 o'clock. Overcast, 30% chance of rain, be feeling more like 55 degrees at the time. Now taking a look at your exclusive Citrus TV 5-day forecast. 64 degrees tomorrow. Another record, possibly the record is going to be 65 degrees, set back in 97. We're aiming for 64, however, we might bump up a little bit. 36 degrees on Thursday. Much, much cooler as that storm comes through. We have a chance for snow Thursday night. Friday, 43 degrees, clouds, rain. Not the nicest day ever on Friday, however, Saturday. The lacrosse team is in the Carrier Dome, 42 degrees and cloudy. Then Sunday, kind of a washout. 85% chance of rain arriving in the afternoon. Maybe some thunderstorms. We're getting up to 47 degrees, but not the nicest day overall. Chris and Sabrina.
Thanks, Brendan. Rite Aid Pharmacy is being acquired by the grocery chain Albertsons. After the deal, the company will have just under 5,000 locations.
Albertsons says the deal is another attempt to compete with the rise of Amazon. Rite Aid will continue to offer standalone stores, so there's no need to worry about your local pharmacy closing down. And McDonald's is trying to lead the industry into a healthier era as it gets ready to take both the cheeseburger and chocolate milk off the Happy Meal menu in June, Sabrina.
That's right, Chris. This action is actually to comply with new nutrition standards demanding restaurant foods have fewer calories, sugar, and salt. SU nutrition student April Hill explains why she believes this won't change things.
I don't think McDonald's can ever lose its fast food connotation. I think that's what it's built off of. That's how it became the empire that it is today. And I think if they try to take that away, they aren't going to be successful. They might be able to modify it, they might be able to make strides to be healthier, but I don't think they can ever completely walk away from the fast food business.
Coming up in sports, the Syracuse men's basketball team gets set to take on the Tar Heels. The women's basketball team keeps the momentum going, and the men's lacrosse team free falls in the rankings. Citrus TV News will be right back.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be?
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Jeez.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Welcome to sports. I'm Christian DeGuzman. Don't get your hopes up yet, but Syracuse continues to give fans a reason to watch after another road victory this season, this time against the Miami Hurricanes. However, now the Orange runs up against 3 teams in the top 15 during its last 4 games, starting with North Carolina at home on Wednesday night. One of the strengths for Syracuse early in the season was offensive rebounding, but SU has cooled off in that area during ACC play. Meanwhile, the forwards of UNC have pushed the Tar Heels to be the best team in the ACC when it comes to grabbing offensive boards, and Jim Boeheim knows that the length of UNC can pose a problem.
Well, they're big. They've been big for as long as I can remember, 40 years. They get a lot of big guys, and they're very aggressive, physical on the boards. They usually have guards, big guards that get to the ball. But they're always going to have a couple 6'10". Most always have had a couple 6'10" guys in there and 6'8". So always been physical and aggressive.
And Syracuse looks to control the glass Wednesday night to have a chance to upset the Tar Heels. Tip is set for 7 p.m. And don't forget to tune into Orange Press Pass after the game at 11 p.m. right here on OTN. And to the Steel City, where the Syracuse women's basketball team was in town to play the Pitt Panthers last night. Coach Q's team looked to keep the momentum going after upsetting number 17 Duke last Thursday. And after a slow start to the game, Syracuse eventually pulled away in the second half to secure a 62-53 win. 4 Orange players recorded double-digit points last night, led by Digna Stroughton, a 16 points. Also a relatively quiet night for Orange point guard Tiana Mangakahia, only 5 assists for the nation's leader in that category, which is tied for a season low. Syracuse does get its 20th win of the season on Monday. Up next for the ladies is a trip down south to play Chapel Hill to play UNC on Thursday. And back to the men's basketball team, Syracuse should come into the UNC matchup with a little confidence, especially from freshman O'Shea Brissett. The Canadian earned ACC Co-Rookie of the Week honors alongside Virginia's DeAndre Hunter. Over SU's last 2 games, Brissett is averaging over 20 points and just under 10 rebounds per game. This marks the second time this season that Brissett was named as the ACC's Rookie of the Week. And after a devastating loss to Albany on Saturday, the Syracuse men's lacrosse team plummeted in the polls. The Orange dropped 9 spots and now sits at 16 in the latest Inside Lacrosse Media poll rankings. No West for the Reary, however, Syracuse hosts 9th-ranked Army West Point this Saturday. The Black Knights upset the Orange last season in the Carrier Dome, opening faceoff set for 2 p.m. And more big news in the college basketball world. The University of Louisville lost its NCAA investigation appeal this afternoon. As such, the Cardinals must vacate 123 wins from 2011 to 2015. This includes Louisville's 2013 national championship, which makes the Cardinals the first men's basketball program to vacate a national title in the Final Four era. The NCAA investigation stems from allegations that Adidas paid Louisville basketball recruits to play for the program. We'll be right back after this.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
And that's all the time we have for today. Keep up with us on Twitter and on our website at CitrusTV.com.
If there's something you want us to see us cover, message us on Twitter at CitrusTV News. For all of us here at CitrusTV News, I'm Chris Venzon.
And I'm Sabrina Maggiore. Have a great night, Syracuse.